Hi, I'm Ron Chan, founder and executive director for the Bay Area Chinese Genealogy Group. Welcome and thank you for attending our first meeting of 2021 as we kick off our Chinese New Year festivities. This meeting is being recorded and all materials will be posted on bacgg.org to pass on to friends and family. What's special about this meeting is that all content was created by our members or their family for members. We took this approach to return to our original, intimate, and member-focused roots. At our first meeting, 10 people barely fit in my living room. Although our membership has grown 10 times that today, we want to stay true to our founding goal, to share and preserve the past together. To that end, our session is to help prepare for the foods and traditions of the new year. We have a great lineup for you. Rosemary Gong will present Chinese New Year Festival. 4 home cooks and a professional one will share their secrets for traditional family recipes. We will preview 2 new books, a Chinese New Year cookbook and one on Chinese New Year traditions. Rosemary, the author of Good Luck Life, unfortunately couldn't be present, so we recorded this 17-minute video. Video, please.
Thank you. Gong hei fa choi, gong si fa chai. It's an honor and privilege to be here with you today, and I'd like to especially thank Jeannie Young, who invited me to discuss all the activities surrounding the Lunar New Year with you. But before I start, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Rosemary Gong, and I'm the author of Good Luck Life, the Essential Guide to Chinese American Celebrations and Culture. I grew up in a small town, Riverbank, California, which is in Stanislaus County. And at that time, my family was the only Chinese family in our town. There were no Chinese language school, no calligraphy classes, no ribbon dancing. We barely had martial arts. But because of our isolation, my extended family was very close-knit with my grandparents and a multitude of aunts and uncles and cousins. And we would gather for all the Chinese holidays and celebrations. After college, I moved to San Francisco for my first job, and I lived in Chinatown so I could be around the corner from my grandparents who had retired there. And as many of you may know, in the Chinese tradition, the generations are tasked to keep an eye out for each other. And this is where I became more connected with being Chinese. I'm a 3rd generation Chinese American. My grandfather immigrated from the Guangdong province to America in 1929. I can say about 29 words of Cantonese, and many of those words aren't worth repeating. As you can probably tell, I speak like an American, I act like an American, I even think like an American, but I'm also Chinese, and I wasn't willing to toss away that side of me. When my grandfather passed away, and he was the very last of his generation, it was his passing that was the catalyst for me to begin writing my book, Good Luck Life. And I did this because I couldn't find anything like it in the bookstores. I wanted to remember all those traditions that I had grown up with, like the Chinese New Year, which is upon us. On February 12th will be the first day, and it will run for 2 weeks to the 26th this year. And I also celebrated with my family the Dragon Boat Festival, where we would make zhong, sticky rice made with wrapped in bamboo leaves, and we would make them and share them among the family members. We would also have mooncakes during the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival during our family dinner. And then we would also twice a year visit the gravesites at the Chinese cemetery to honor our ancestors. Then there were also all the milestone celebrations that we had thrown in wild Chinese fashion, the longevity birthdays, those big decade birthdays when people will turn 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, the Chinese wedding, and the red egg and ginger party where we would introduce our new babies into our extended family and the community at large. Now, the most important Chinese festival of the year is approaching, the Chinese New Year, also known as the Lunar New Year to be politically correct, because the holiday is also widely celebrated by many other Asian ethnicities, especially in Southeast Asia, such as Vietnam and Singapore and Malaysia. CNY, which is Chinese New Year, is a 15-day celebration. It begins on the new moon and concludes on the full moon, which is regarded as the Lantern Festival. The first day typically begins quietly with a day of rest and then escalates into something like a huge block party. The San Francisco Chinese New Year Parade, which is considered one of the largest illuminated night parades in the United States, is typically held during this time, but with COVID-19, the parade has unfortunately been canceled. This leaves us anticipating an even bigger celebration in the Year of the Tiger, beginning on February 1st, 2022, so you might want to mark that date. This year, we say goodbye to the Year of the Rat and hello to the Year of the Ox. This means that those ox who will turn any age divisible by 12, for example, if you're going to be 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, will have an especially significant year. And it's said that if it's your astrological animal year, that you should wear a small piece of jade as a means of protection because your energies are heightened in your animal year. I always thought it was a great excuse to go out and treat yourself to a nice piece of jewelry. In my family home, we'd get ready by tossing out the old and welcoming the new. And this meant major spring cleaning of giant proportions, like sorting through closets and cupboards and drawers. We'd take down the blinds and the curtains for cleaning, and we'd scrub all the kitchen appliances. Old debts are settled in order to not take them into the new year. And it's taboo to clean your house or cut your hair on New Year's Day, or you risk cutting your luck away. Some even say not to cut your hair for the entire 2 weeks. It's all up to you. Now, I grew up with the kitchen god taped near our family stove. He would get splattered and stained by year's end, and my mom would simply take him down and burn him in the fireplace. I always thought it was a part of the spring cleaning process, but as I was doing research for Good Luck Life, I discovered he's the most important domestic deity who gathers reports on the family's behavior from the previous year to report to the Jade Emperor. And to encourage a good report, families even smear the kitchen god's mouth with honey or molasses so it sweetens his tongue. Some families even dip him in liquor before burning his image to send his spirit to the heavens. And this is done approximately a week before the new year. After all the spring cleaning is done, we would go out shopping for brand new clothes, preferably something in red, because the color red is good luck to the Chinese. Red carries the symbolic association with fire, the sun, and life energy. It's our lifeblood, the color red, that demons fear the most. We'd buy something new to wear completely over and under. If I get a new dress, I'd get a coat, and a jacket, shoes, underwear, new accessories, and it was the same for my brother as well. Shopping is also extremely important during this time. Groceries require some planning as the festival approaches. Asian markets become very busy and households stock up on groceries and all kinds of food items for the annual dinner, as well as all the gatherings and the visits that are held at the home. The exchange of hostess gifts is practiced also during this time. When visiting friends and family in their home, you bring a gift, typically something symbolic, maybe of the 5 blessings: fortune, longevity, prosperity, wealth, happiness, and health. When your visitors depart, it is also customary that they leave with a gift. No one comes or leaves empty-handed. Now, I associate the facets of the Chinese New Year to the 5 F's. They are family, friends, food, flowers, and good fortune. The primary theme of the Spring Festival is unity and inclusion and togetherness. In fact, in Old China, there were specific days designated for visits and acknowledgements. For instance, the first day of the new year, respects are made to your ancestors and temples are visited. The family dinner ideally is held on New Year's Eve evening at night. Married women visit their parents on the second day of the holiday. In my family home, tangerines and pomelos, or Chinese grapefruit, are widely displayed throughout the house because tangerines mean luck and the Chinese grapefruit means prosperity and status. They go together like strawberries and cream. They're good separate, but they're even better symbolically together. Oranges connote wealth and sweetness, and they're the ubiquitous hostess gift. So if you visit a Chinese family, you can take a bag of oranges and you can be set. You give them in even numbers, but never in a quantity of 4, because the Chinese word for 4 is a homonym for the word for death. And the Chinese are so superstitious, especially during the new year, you just don't go there. You'll also see miniature kumquat or citrus trees decorated with small red coin envelopes. We'd hang them with red string like paper ornaments and as an offering to the god of prosperity. During the celebration, there are multiple dinners and social gatherings, but the most important obligation is the family dinner. When I interviewed the multitude of Chinese aunties for Good Luck Life, they unanimously, hands down, agreed that this was the single most important obligation for their families because it symbolized a family's unity. It's like being home for the holidays. Then Auntie Lau, who is a representation of all the wise and wizened aunties that I talked to, reminded me of the old Chinese saying, when a family doesn't share Chinese New Year dinner, its heart will grow cold. And it brought it home for me. The most common celebratory dish associated to New Year is jai, which is a vegetarian dish that includes auspicious ingredients such as dried oysters for good business, fancy long bean threads that look like clear noodles for longevity, dried bean curd for abundance, fat choy, which looks like long black hair for luck, and a host of other symbolic ingredients, and vegetables, green vegetables that are sauteed in a wok with sesame oil and oyster sauce. And have you ever noticed that the Chinese restaurants, the poultry and the fish and the game are served whole, complete with the head and the feet and the fins? This isn't for the shock factor, but the reason for it is because the Chinese traditionally believe serving fish and game and poultry in pieces is considered broken. Good things come whole and complete. Ningguo is Chinese New Year cake, and it's the equivalent to the fruit cake at Christmas time. It's a glutinous rice cake that's caramel colored, sweet, dense, and sticky after being steamed for hours, and it's often found in Chinese bakeries and the larger stores during the new year. It's typically decorated with sesame and red dates for prosperity and a sprig of pine or cypress for longevity. It's served all around the clock with tea during New Year visits, for dessert, after meals, and even for breakfast for a Chinese version of French toast. And it's widely gifted or regifted during the holiday. Whenever we get visitors at our house during the Chinese New Year, my mother would bust out a sectional red platter of snacks, which is known as the tray of togetherness. It's filled with preserved fruits and seeds and sweets like sugared coconut strips and kumquats and melon and carrot and lotus seeds. These all carry auspicious meanings, which I've also defined in my book. Fresh flowers in the home are an important part of the holiday, the most symbolic being the narcissus, because it's considered the flower of Chinese New Year and means good fortune and prosperity. My personal favorite are the quince branches that mean splendor and prosperity. I like to buy them just so they bloom right on New Year's Day. That's my personal objective. Peonies represent wealth and orchids mean love. And it's often the flower that's designated for the family's matriarch. So if you buy an orchid for your mother or your mother-in-law, it's totally appropriate. A variety of decorations are hung in the home to invite good fortune, such as scrolls and spring couplets, with a variety of well wishes, sayings, and good intentions. Lucky red paper, such as the single foot character, which means luck, is hung prominently. Sometimes it's hung upside down because in some Chinese dialects, the word for upside down sounds like has arrived, so it assumes the meaning of fortune has arrived. There are decorative strings of firecrackers in a multitude of sizes and lengths, and those are hung near the doorway or at thresholds to scare away evil demons. Lanterns are also popular during the Lantern Festival. And then there's the giving and the receiving of lai si or hong bao, red envelopes containing lucky money. Married couples give lai si to children, and the collection is expected to sustain or bankroll them for the entire year. Typically, they contain $1, but it depends on the relationship of who you're giving them to. The practice of giving money in red envelopes comes from the old folk saying that money wrapped in red multiplies. Lastly, when writing Good Luck Life, I learned that the Chinese say thank you 3 times, so all realms of existence can be acknowledged for one's good fortune, and it has certainly been my good fortune to be here with you today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. 恭喜發財，新年快樂.
Thank you, Rosemary. We will now share how to make traditional Chinese New Year dishes from our talented members and family. All these recipes are in the cookbook. We will show step-by-step instructions on how to make 5 recipes. First, Jai Made Easy. This is a video I shot 12 years ago when Mom was 79 years young. She shares how she celebrated Chinese New Year as a little girl, what Chinese New Year means to her family, and the 20 ingredients she uses in her jai. Second, Dumplings Made Easy by Chef Zhang. Dumplings are made because they're shaped like ancient Chinese gold ingots. Third, White Cut Chicken Made Easy by Sharon Louie, who made this several times for our potluck. This is the only thing equal to her chicken is her oil, ginger, and salt sauce over rice. Fourth, Chinese Steamed Fish Made Easy by Jeff Tom, as fish symbolizes abundance. Fifth, Rice Cake Made Easy by Nick, because the Chinese for rice cake sounds like prosperity year after year. The following video starts with a demo of our interactive digital cookbook. It is online on our site, and you turn pages just like a real book, except it has video, text, photos, music, and even a search engine to explore the 25 recipes. Video, please.
We caught this out by the Farallon Islands.
like I said, I'm using a little different ingredients, so my jai may not be the same as other jai. I did make pretty good jai, didn't I, Ron?
Absolutely, that's why we're here.
Yeah. So, but nothing like what my mom made, of course. But I wish I had learned more from her. But she always make a Chinese New Year morning, and before we go to school, we just have rice and jai for breakfast. And that's a must. And I think I was brought up pretty well from my folks because I always bring my dad and my mom a cup of tea with both hands. Chinese New Year and American New Year. I even do that for Al's mother until her last year with us. I do that every year for her too, and her birthday and my folks' birthday too. And oh yeah, Chinese New Year, the old thing is you're not supposed to wash your hair that day. You're supposed to clean your house 2 days before Chinese New Year. Don't wash your hair. Don't sweep the floor, which I always do. Maybe that's why my wealth should be better. But it's a daily thing for me to sweep my floor. So it's not I'm sweeping money away like they say. I'm sweeping in my dustpan, and I am not going to empty my dustpan until tomorrow. I know, like 7th is Chinese New Year, then I empty my dustpan on the 8th. So I'm still keeping money in my house. But if my mom knows about this, she probably say, hey, what are you doing? But anyway, I think she heard me already now. So anyway, I try to do my best, and I will celebrate my big one this year, and hopefully I will still be here 2009 to do this. Maybe Ronnie can do that for me next year.
Did your mom give you lacey?
Yeah. And then not only that, Chinese New Year sometimes falls on school days, so a few girls and we play hooky, which I didn't play so much hooky then, because God, I did play hooky a lot. Chinese New Year, Betty, Lily, and Lily Zhao, well, she's no longer with us. We always play hooky and go up to the Gong Tong. And all we have to do is say, Gong Hei Fat Choi. And all these guys, work in the gambling house, boy, they put out front envelopes, And in those days, 25 cents was a lot. So then I think we collect pretty good at the Gong Tong. It's a Chinese association that we go to every year. All you got to say is Gong Hei Fat Choi to these guys and men. But anyway, I already have my red envelope ready for my grandchildren. Well, I haven't drank yet, Wait till I drink the wine. Okay. This is bean sauce. Chinese is Fu Yu. And this is Nam Yu. Red fermented bean curd. That's the most two ingredients for the sauce. And this is some kind of red berries, Hong Jiao. And this is water chestnut, Ma Tai. And this is canned mushroom, is Lao Fan Dong Gu, or mushroom. Sesame oil, Ji Ma Yao. And this is, mushroom. This is dingo nut, bak go, canned ones. They do have fresh ones. And this is called Lo Hon Jai. That's all that stuff that's supposed to be mixing with the jai. It has everything in there. Almost everything. And then, this is something. This is Chai I something Pao Yu. It's a braised gluten. But it's good for Chao Choi too. Cooked vegetable. And then this is peanut. Oh, I got the wrong thing. This is peanut gluten, same as the other gluten, but this has peanut in it. That's okay. And this is Chinese cabbage, siu choi, the long kind. This is some kind of fungus, but you have to soak it real good, like I said previous time. And there's a little hard core here. You have to cut every one of this hard core. Wood here. Wan yi. Chinese is wan yi is some kind of wood air.
Yeah, black fungus.
A black fungus.
Yeah.
Bean cake like. But these are real huge. I told Ron he should buy small ones if he can. And what I did, I bring the water to boil, and I put every one of those big thin curd in the boiling water, and I press it down to pick some of the oil out. See the grease?
Chinese is what?
Chinese is jiao tofu. And this is oyster sauce, hao yao. A lot of people use it for cooking, whatever they want, vegetables, put in noodles, garnish, da-da-da. And I don't have Chinese wine. I have my Chinese mushroom, donggu. You have to, this I got from my freezer, which is real good to do ahead of time. You have to rinse it real good, and then soak it real good till it gets soft, and then there's a little stem here. You have to cut it, and oh, I missed this one. But these are big, so I cut it in half. I think I missed some, but that's okay. And then I just put some a can of soup, chicken soup, and I add some water till I get the liquid, and I'm supposed to use the liquid in a jar. That's donggu, Chinese mushroom. It's bean curd, dry bean curd. Don't get the flat kind, get the stick kind. You have to soak it until it gets soft. And then what I did, I kind of pre-boil it so it won't get, so it'll be soft. It tastes better when it's soft. And then this is vermicelli. Zhenxi. Also has to soak it, and then I also parboil, so, it'll be soft, and it's long. You have to cut it, so it won't be so long. The chef gotta go to work. Yan can cook. Well, May can cook too. First of all, oil. I have no measurements now. This is canola oil, so it's good for you. Then I gotta wait until it heats up. Okay, I just heat up the oil, and then you can hear it. The oil sauce contains of the whiskey, wine, soy sauce, oyster sauce, fu yu and nam yu, and ginger, and all that good stuff is in here. Just stir it a little bit. Now it's boiling, so I'm adding. The next will be juice of the mushroom. This is Chinese mushroom juice. So I'm going to use the, okay, all the apples, see. This is the vermicelli. I wish I'm too quick boiler. Well, this will make maybe a 20 quart. Ron's family in Lucy, they love this, so they can take some home and freeze it. It's very good. Put a Ziploc bag and just freeze it. Okay, I'm gonna add the bak bo, which I already strain it. No liquid in the bak bo. I use 3 cans. Should have put more. And then the next will be, and then the mushrooms. The oysters, I'm not using oysters. Add chicken broth to cover. Notice I have to stand on this little stool because I can reach. Okay, I just add the fancy in there, vermicelli. So I mix it up with the sauces in there. I have to use this for broth because this time I get a stove to not to be the milk. This is quite easy. Keep the black fungus. which has been soaked, and the little hard core has been cut. So far. Okay. A little bit more. Okay. Added the vanilla. I'm gonna add the pupok bean curd. I grew 2 inches right now because I'm standing on a stool, otherwise I can't reach the pot. How much is shrunk? I shrunk 1 inch, you know, Ronnie, from last year. Because last year I didn't need the stool.
Pot just got taller.
Thanks, Susie. Now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. I think this is American mushroom, button mushroom. Okay. Oh, hung jiao. Ouch. Oh, there's a couple of hung jiao somewhere. Oh, here. I'm adding the red berries, hung jiao. And I'm going to add the mushroom too. I'm just adding whatever is not supposed to be in order, whatever, but just add whatever I feel like doing. Nobody cooks the same. Now I'm adding this gluten, braised gluten. I have never used on jai before. But when I was shopping yesterday in Chinatown, one young lady, I'm sure she's from Hong Kong somewhere, she's real nice, and she told me to add this because right now this is the safest thing to add. So then she also told me to add this wheat gluten. I try not to use too much of this sauce.
Why?
It's greasy. But you can use this to chow choy. You know, cook vegetable. After you cook the vegetable, you can add this on. Or you can add this on when you make soup noodles. Okay, now I need my siu choy. That's the last item. Okay, I should really put this in first because it takes a while to cook. You know, I have so much, I think, do you have fancy left over from a silly? This make a little nice side dish for when you eat dinner. Or you can use the leftover from a silly with zucchini. Or you can make a little egg omelet and add some of that in there. That's good. Just create your own dishes. Chinese have no set ingredients or the way it's cooked. Everybody cooks different. That's why this world is round, not square. The round is very equal. One line, circle. So now I'll just cover it and wait until the vegetable get soft. And I think that's it. Ronnie said he used Chinese wine. But, like Lucille Ball, first to you guys, Lucy, Brian, Jennifer, Ron, William, Melanie, and Elle, because she's paid part of this, all of it. Oh! Okay, now I'm going to bring it to a boil and wait until the vegetable is nearly cooked, then I will taste it. But don't need to add any salt because everything, like the seasoning sauce, is very salty because of the oyster sauce, the soy sauce, and the rest of the ingredients in the bottle jar, especially the fuyue and the namyu. That's it. Get all the ingredients in front of you. But see, I've been cooking so long, I just pick up the cupboard for what I need. But that's not the way of cooking. Sometimes you leave out. So. Okay.
Kung Fa Choi.
Happy New Year, and I think we all are prosperity in a way, But as long as we have the health, that's all the prosperity I want for all. Want to taste it?
Let's see it.
Camera, can you taste this?
OK， 这个是绞肉
Ground pork.
，Yeah， 这个他妈妈听得懂中文。然后这个是青菜，这个青菜已经用水烫过的。OK， 这个是虾，这个是虾，然后这里是所有的调料，调料是2个鸡蛋，这个是 cooking wine 就是黄酒，这个是 sesame oil 就是麻油，这个是糖。这个是盐，这个是鸡精，这个是胡椒粉，然后这个是鸡汤。OK， 第一步，你先要把青菜把它剁碎。OK， 然后把这个菜呢，要把它水要把它压干，把它的水压干。OK， 把它的水都压干了 ，OK， 然后这个是虾 ，OK。然后把这个绞肉放到里面 ，OK， 把这个虾放到里面，把这个菜放在一起 ，OK， 放入盐，放入盐。放入糖，放入鸡精，放入胡椒粉、麻油、绍兴料酒，2个鸡蛋，然后 加入一杯鸡汤。OK， 现在。OK， 这个馄饨的馅子就好了，就可以了。只要远一点，远一点，远一点。OK。
Hi, my name is Sharon Louie. I'm going to show you how to make a bok chi gai. Bok chi gai is a poached chicken. The literal translation for those 3 words is white cut chicken. So every year, for Chinese New Year's, my mom will make a big giant pot of jai and a bok chi gai. So she taught me how to make both. So she's no longer with us, but I carry on the tradition. And so every year, Chinese New Year, I will make a big pot of jai, and one of my sisters, will bring over a bok chi gai. Okay, from start to finish, it takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes. But because this video is only 7 or 8 minutes, I have to cut out a lot of parts. So I already actually cooked the chicken already, and you don't have to see me. I don't have to videotape the cooking part. It's not necessary, but there are 4 components to preparing this dish. 1, cooking it. 2, cutting it. 3, plating it. And 4, making the ginger and scallion sauce. Okay, ideally, you want a free-range chicken. I use a Rosie organic non-GMO chicken, which is sold at Safeway. And I find this chicken to be sweeter. Okay, overall, cooking the chicken is not hard. So I use an 8-quart stock pot, and I throw the water about halfway. And you want the chicken to be submerged in the water. So you bring the water to boil, add 1 bunch green onion, and then 5 slices of ginger. So 1 is bring the water to boil. 2, place the chicken in the pot, breast side up. 3, bring to the second boil. Turn the heat down and simmer 50 minutes. Then turn off the heat, leave the pot on the stove, and let it sit there for 45 minutes. And then remove the chicken, let it cool. Let it cool about 15-20 minutes. Save the stock for making soup or stir frying. Okay, now I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna cut the chicken. My mom never taught me how to cut the chicken, so I was just kind of winging it. So actually, a few days ago, I Googled it to learn how to cut it properly. Okay, so cutting the chicken, because there's bones, and you need to cut through the bone. You really want to use a Chinese meat cleaver. If you're intimidated by a Chinese meat cleaver, you can debone the chicken first, but that is another video or lesson. So I will give you a link that will show you how to debone a chicken. All right, first step, dismantling the chicken. Cut you want to cut half the chicken off. So start from the breast. Oh, I cut pretty easily. Okay. And then you want to cut the ribs off. Okay, so here's half a chicken. Now you want to cut the backbone off. Okay, so you have 2 halves and the backbone. And then cut this to bite size. Oops. So plating it. Put it in the plate. And here's the backbone. Next, cut off the thigh and drumstick. Here at the joint, we separate the drumstick. You could chop it in 3 parts, or you can just lay it on the plate. Here, you want to cut it in 3 pieces, about 3/4 inch, so you can pick it up. You cut it to the size where you pick it up with a chopstick. So about 3 pieces. Okay. Lay it here. And then the wings. Okay, there's 3 parts of the wing. You have the drumette, the flat, and wingtip. Lay it here. So you have the breast left and the ribs. So here you separate it and then cut across the breast, and then you lay it on the plate. So I'm going to finish this, and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. I finished cutting up the whole chicken. Now, and then I'm going to garnish it. I use green onion. I cut it diagonal. Sprinkle some on. Okay, so this is done. Now we're going to make the sauce. So the sauce is oil, salt, ginger, and onion again, and then palm sugar. So I heated the oil already earlier. And then you're going to add salt and ginger. Okay, for the ginger, a lot of times they recommend that you use a spoon to remove the skin of the ginger. Use the So I added the ginger and salt, cook 30 seconds, add in green onion and palm sugar. So cook this 30 seconds. So palm sugar, this is pure palm sugar. It comes in a block like this. It's from Thailand. Or yeah, Thailand. So there is a difference between coconut palm sugar and pure palm sugar. It's two different sugars. So be sure to get pure palm sugar, and it is available in Chinese markets. Okay, so this should be done. So actually making the sauce is not hard, but as in most Chinese cooking, it requires prep time, cutting it, a lot of cutting. So I am done. So we have the chicken here and then the sauce. So 恭喜發財，新年快樂，龍馬精神。
We caught this out by the Farallon Islands. It's a rock cod. And we're going to be steaming this rock cod today like we always do. We like garlic, so we're going to put a lot of garlic on the fish. Okay, first I like to pour a little soy, lightly salted soy. Then I put some garlic on the inside, underneath, so it soaks in. Okay. I like to put ginger in there. And rub it in, right? And put some ginger on the bottom. So it can kind of be like a broth. Let's take a look. See how we're doing. We're looking real good there. Throw our green onions on the top. And then put some yunsai all over there. Our hot oil. Crisp it up a little bit, and we're ready to go.
Hello, I am making Ningo, a Chinese dessert made during Chinese New Year's. What you see in front of you is the basic ingredients. It is 2 cups of water, 1/4 cup of oil. In the red dish is sesame seeds. There's 1 pound of glutinous rice flour and 1 pound of brown sugar, which is cane sugar. It's in a solid form. The method of preparing this is boil water and then add the sugar until dissolved. Cool the water and stir into the flour until smooth. You'll get a light brown mixture, and then you'll stir in the oil. Grease the pan and fill it, and then steam it on low for 4 hours. And then when you pull it out, you put the sesame seeds on top. What you have here is the brown sugar being dissolved in the hot water. Do this until it all breaks down and it's just a clear liquid. Right next to it is the sesame seeds, which I brown. Preferably I like to brown it because it gives a little better taste to the dessert, and it's kind of the traditional way of doing it. What you have here is the brown sesame seeds, which I've put in a pan and heated up. It took about 5 or 10 minutes on low. I'll leave that on the side. I took the brown sugar water and I put it in a bowl, another bowl. And instead of waiting for the solution to cool down, I put the bowl into an ice bath to quickly bring it down. I didn't want to wait another couple hours for this to cool off, so this is my way of speeding up the process. Well, what I have here is the cooled down brown sugar water, and it's pretty much room temperature. And then I have the glutinous flour in a bowl. And what I'm going to do is start to incorporate it into the flour. I'm going to put a little bit in at a time and then mix it up. And then you can see what it looks like. So as you see, it's starting to become a caramel colored mixture. It's once it gets fully incorporated, I'm going to add the salad oil. So you can see it's fairly well mixed. And now I'm going to add the salad oil. It looks pretty good. What I have here next is the pot with the steamer. It's filled with water, and I put a grid under it, or a little frame on the bottom side, as you can see, to hold up the pan. I don't want the pan to sit in the hot water. I want it to sit above it and allow the steam to cook it. What I'm going to do next is take the tray, the cake pan, which the solution is poured into, drop it into the pan, and then I'm going to cover it with a lid. Now, as you can see, the lid is covered with cloth, and the reason being is that early on I have a flat lid pot, and during the steaming period, a lot of excess condensation or water would drip down into the dessert. So I wrapped it with this towel to prevent that. It'd probably be simpler to use a pot with a rounded lid, but since I don't have one large enough for the cake pan, this is how I'm doing it. Bring it to a boil and steam it for 4 hours on low, and make sure you check the pot at least once an hour to add more water, or at least check the water. I just pulled the Ningo from out of the steamer. It's been in there for about 4 hours. I checked to see if it's cooked by inserting the toothpick into the dough, and toothpick came out fairly clean, so it is cooked. I sprinkled sesame seeds over it, and it's just sitting here. It'll take about an hour for it to cool off, where then you can cut into it. What works best to cut into the dough is a plastic knife. For whatever reason, the surface of the plastic cuts right through the dough. Also, what also helps is prior to pouring the the batter into the cake pan, use a non-stick cooking spray, which will allow the dough to be released off the pan quite easily. So let it cool and then enjoy.
Thank you, chefs, for sharing your time and talent. In addition to the cookbook, we have a second digital book on our website, Preparing for the Year of the Ox. It includes what foods to make and what they symbolize, what activities to complete, like paying off debts, cleaning house, and getting a haircut, what not to do, like washing your hair, and much more. I want you to know today and always, I stand on the shoulders of a great team. Special thanks to Rosemary Gong for her excellent presentation, our 5 Supreme Chefs, the Zoom Tech team, Doug Joe, Bruce Chin, and Alvin Huey. To those who put their heart and soul to create the tradition and cooking content, thank you Jeannie Young, Gail Chong, and Leona Lau. A big welcome to Al Lowe, our newest planning committee member, Will Lee for the creative cover designs, Jones Wong for the superb subtitling. Thank you for allowing me, Ron Chan, to participate by producing the videos and creating the digital books. Most of all, thank you, our members, for your support. If you're not already a BACGG member, for only $25 a year, you support us to create programs like today. See our website, bacgg.org, for recipes on all you've seen and the 20 additional recipes. Please feel free to submit your favorite recipes for the next update. In closing, I was so inspired by watching my mom's long-forgotten chai video. I made my first pot. Want to know what the best taste was? It is when Gail Chong told me, the best tribute to your mom and family traditions is to carry forward her recipes. I hope this session inspires you the same way. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and attention. Gong hei fa choi. Be well, stay well. Bye for now.